In the dusty town of Silver Creek, nestled between the jagged peaks of the Rocky Mountains and the endless expanse of golden prairies, lived two sisters, whose beauty was the stuff of legends, whispered around campfires and saloon tables. Eliza, the elder at 25, was a vision of fiery determination, with raven black hair cascading like a midnight river down her back, eyes sharp as a hawk's, and a spirit unbroken by the harsh frontier life. She ran the family ranch with an iron fist wrapped in velvet, herding cattle with the skill of any man and negotiating trades that kept their homestead thriving. Her younger sister, Clara, just turned 21, was her polar opposite, soft and ethereal, with sun-kissed blonde curls framing a face as gentle as a summer breeze, her laughter like the tinkling of wind chimes that could melt the iciest heart. Clara tended the gardens in the home, her hands skilled in healing, herbs and baking pies that drew neighbors from miles around. The sisters were inseparable, bound by the loss of their parents to a brutal winter storm years ago, vowing to protect each other against the world's cruelties. But fate, that capricious rider on the winds of change, had other plans when a lone cowboy rode into town one scorching afternoon in the summer of 1885. His name was Jack Harlan, a tall, broad-shouldered drifter with a weathered Stetson pulled low over piercing blue eyes that had seen too many sunsets and showdowns. His face bore the scars of battles won and lost, a faint line across his cheek from a knife fight in Abilene, and his hands were calloused from reins and revolvers. Jack wasn't just any cowboy. He was a legend in his own right, having tamed wild mustangs in the Badlands and outrun outlaws across the plains. He arrived in Silver Creek, seeking refuge after a botched cattle drive left him penniless and horse-weary. Word spread quickly of the stranger who dismounted at the livery stable, his spurs jingling like distant thunder. Eliza spotted him first while bargaining for feed at the general store. Their eyes met across the crowded porch, and in that instant, a spark ignited, her bold gaze challenging his quiet intensity. Jack tipped his hat, his voice a low rumble like gravel under boots, asking for work. Eliza, ever practical, hired him on the spot to mend fences and round up strays, sensing in him a kindred soul who understood the land's unforgiving rhythm. As days turned to weeks, Jack's presence wove into the fabric of the ranch like a sturdy thread. He rose before dawn, his silhouette against the rising sun as he saddled horses and drove herds to greener pastures. Eliza worked alongside him, their conversation sparse but charged with unspoken admiration. She admired his unflinching courage when a rattlesnake struck at his boot, and he marveled at her expertise in reading storm clouds to save the livestock. But Clara, too, felt the pull of this enigmatic man. She brought him cool lemonade under the noonday sun, her shy smiles drawing out stories from his past, tales of starry nights on the trail and narrow escapes from bandits. Jack found solace in her gentleness, a balm to his wandering soul that had known little peace. The sisters, unaware at first of the shared affection blooming, confided in each other about the cowboy's charms. Eliza spoke of his strength and reliability, dreaming of a partner to share the burdens of the ranch. Clara whispered of his hidden tenderness, envisioning a life of quiet companionship. Tension simmered beneath the surface as jealous glances were exchanged over dinner tables laden with Clara's cornbread and Eliza's stew. Whispers in town fueled the fire. Folks bet on which sister would win the cowboy's heart. Jack, torn between the two, felt the weight of his impending departure. He had saved enough for a new start westward, but leaving meant choosing or losing both. One evening, as the sun dipped low, painting the sky in hues of crimson and gold, the sisters confronted their feelings in a heated exchange by the barn. "He's mine to fight for," Eliza declared, her voice steady but eyes betraying fear. Clara, tears glistening, replied, "Love isn't a battle, sister, but if it must be, I'll stand my ground." The stage was set for a reckoning, with Jack unwittingly at the center of a storm that could tear the unbreakable bond apart. The air in Silver Creek grew thick with anticipation as word of the sisters' rivalry spread like wildfire across dry brush. Jack Harlan, oblivious at first to the depth of the conflict, continued his labors on the ranch, his muscles aching from long days but his mind restless with thoughts of the two women who had captured pieces of his heart. Eliza's fierce independence mirrored his own nomadic spirit, challenging him to envision a settled life where they could conquer the wilderness together. Clara's warmth reminded him of a home he never had, stirring dreams of evenings by the fire with soft words and shared silences. But as the harvest moon rose full and luminous, illuminating the prairies in silvery light, the tension erupted into open confrontation. It began innocently enough, a town fair where cowboys showcased their skills in roping, riding, and shooting. Eliza, determined to prove her worth, entered the events, her lithe form astride a spirited mare, outpacing men twice her size. Clara, not to be outdone, organized a pie-baking contest, her entries drawing crowds with their flaky crusts and sweet fillings. Jack, roped into judging, found himself the unwitting prize in this subtle war of talents. The real clash came that night under the stars, as the fair wound down with a bonfire dance. Eliza, dressed in a simple calico gown that hugged her curves, pulled Jack onto the makeshift floor, her steps bold and rhythmic like a galloping herd. They twirled in perfect sync, her laughter bold against the fiddle's wail, and for a moment Jack forgot the world beyond her embrace. But